my aim for coming here was to speak to students at GIPA and the faculty to learn, from my point of view, to learn about media coverage here in Georgia and in Tbilisi, and hopefully to communicate some of what American practices are covering elections. Elections are my specialty. That's what I've done my whole life. But Georgia is a brand new experience for me. I've never been here before. Well, the hard part here is that it's very difficult to find jobs there is very little objective news coverage. So going out into the field after you finish your school and getting a job where you can do good independent work is difficult because there are very few employers, and to make a living you have to have a job, and there are very few, if any, real jobs that pay enough to live on, that are where you work for what we in the United States would call independent, objective newspaper coverage. I think the students want to do that. That's my impression. Quite clearly they want to do that. And the faculty would like to do that. But the problem is that the market doesn't offer very much. My impression so far is that, one, in this country, television is really the most important media that you have, more important than newspapers or radio. That's different than the United States. In the United States, television is very important, but the newspapers are probably as important, maybe more important. And I gather here that the two main commercial channels, I can't remember the correct names of them, but they are both government, if not controlled, they basically are aligned with the government. And that makes it difficult to, right now, where you have a real challenge from an opposition for the first time, to get good, balanced information to the public. Actually, what I suggest is really quite mundane. I think you should first collect all the names, the contacts, the phone numbers of the political parties, the candidates, their email addresses, their Facebook connections, their Twitter connections, all the ways that they communicate and that you can communicate to them, and make sure that you're on all lists to get announcements about rallies, and then to actually go out with candidates when they campaign, to go to the parties, try to find out where the parties are getting their financial support. How much is this billionaire who's leading the Georgia Dream Party, is he paying for everything? And then who is supporting Misha? Who are his financial supporters? What do they have to gain from this? And then also, if there are real issues, here in Georgia you have a very young democracy, and the parties tend to be personality oriented rather than having real programs or policies. The more you can try to find out what the actual election will mean to people in terms of what will happen to their water services, their sewer bills, their taxes, all that, that would be very helpful for covering, so voters would know whether or not the election is really important to them. In the United States, the austerity and the financial problems have made politics much more competitive and more hostile, because there is not that much money to give out, so people are worried who's going to lose. I gather Georgia has been not hit as hard as other areas, and from what I've read, they've had substantial growth, 6.8%, I think, in the last year, which is quite good, and is much better than the United States, the rate of growth. So you don't have the same problem here of people fighting over a smaller and smaller pie. Here, actually, the pie is getting a little bigger. You do have a big unemployment problem, I gather, in Georgia, and there need to be more jobs. That is a real serious problem. And I don't know how the two parties plan to address that question. The whole social network system is very good, useful and very beneficial in getting information out and making people aware of information that's not available in the regular news channels of the newspapers and TV. The problem is that it doesn't pay any money. And so people have to who do this are doing it out of the goodness of their own heart. And it's it helps the debate and helps public information. But what really needs to happen is for there to be news publications, television stations, or newspapers that are independent and not controlled by either political party, that can be trusted and that can pay reporters to do the work. That's what's really needed in this country for an ongoing, you have a growing young democracy here, and for it to really thrive, I think that would be, it's important to develop an independent media that actually makes a profit so it can pay reporters to do good work. I think you have to be very interested in power. Be sort of want to know who has power, how they got power, and how they use that power. It's politics is a competition, one, for power, two, it's a competition for resources. Who's going to get the benefits, the contracts, the new roads, all that, and who's going to pay for it? Who's going to be taxed? Where's the money going to come from? So you have to be really interested in that whole process, and how does government work? How well does it work? And when it works badly, why is it not working badly? And what's going wrong? And I think it also helps for a reporter to be committed to democratic principles, that everyone should have a chance to vote, and that the public has a right to know what's going on. That's a very important part of being a good reporter. The people are very nice. I really like it here. I wish I was staying much longer. It's a beautiful country. The city has a whole lot of little things that I like. I mean, I like these little statues that are on. The art is beautiful. The people are very friendly and nice. I just feel badly that I'm here for such a short time. I've been very impressed with the country, and it's really what has happened here in a matter of 22 years since you became a free country is extraordinary. Georgia it's extraordinary. To get this far, this fast, is very, very impressive. And I would like to know much more about how you were able to do that fast and that quickly. I would try. I think there's a real opportunity here in Georgia, actually, for creating something like the Huffington Post, or an online political reporting system. People are very interested in politics, is my impression. And I think you'd have a lot of readers, and it might be possible to actually to make money from such a thing. And I think that because there is right now no objective journalism, I think there actually could be a market, and it could be a profitable, successful market that really ought to be cultivated and developed. And if I was living in Georgia, that would be something I would try to do. I was very impressed with GIPA. The students, I thought, are very deeply committed and hardworking, and they're idealistic, which is a very good, being idealistic is very important at this stage in your life and at this stage in a country. And I'm very impressed with the school and especially the students.